Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're going to do something a little bit different today. We're actually going to start off a new series which is going to be focused on pretty much the community. I feel like that's going to be a good thing, and my camera's actually here, so it's getting kind of difficult to actually look at that and also to the screen to look at my guest here, because we have Venris from SFO, and yeah, we're going to talk about a few things. How you doing, dude?
Hello, thank you for inviting. I'm doing fine. And this is all that I can say because of the wave of heat in my country right now.
Oh, is it still really hot?
Yeah.
So it's cooled down here, actually, for once. It is like 23 degrees, which is the coolest it's been since, God, I want to say March. So it's actually really, really nice. It's cool enough for me to wear like a t-shirt and not be in vest all day, you know?
No, I have, like a fan in my office, so the temperature here is quite normal, but outside is like 30 plus.
Yeah, summer's been brutal this year. Here, like in England right now, it's like 30 degrees, which is not fun. But, so, I want to talk to you about a few things, because obviously you've been working on SFO for like a long time, right? It's not just been Warhammer 3. A lot of people have been new to Warhammer 3, but they might not have played the other titles. SFO has been here for a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, so I'm modding Total War since Bretonia update was released, so it's February 2017. So
Great.
6 years right now.
Wow. It's one of those things where you just don't realize how long the series has been going on, and then you just feel old, right?
No, I'm not old. I don't feel old, okay? I
But
don't
yeah,
want to feel old.
with with the how long you've been into the actual series. Now we're moving into Warhammer 3. Obviously, it's been about a year and a bit now since Warhammer 3's come out. It's had a lot of ups and downs, I imagine.
Yeah, to say at least, I would say.
Yeah, and you've been like promoting. I've been seeing on Twitter and stuff. You've been promoting the next update for SFO. It's you guys are a certain percentage away, which I think is really, really good, that you show how far away you are or how into it you are, because that obviously not only hypes up people, but it lets them know, look, the update is coming. This is what's changing. I've seen that you've been posting up some like little snippets here and there. You've done that video, obviously, like changing up manifestations for like Kairos and so on. It's really good to see you like really communicating, because obviously there's a lot of people subbed to SFO, right? Like you are one of the largest mods in the actual workshop for Total War Warhammer 3, obviously in Warhammer 2 too, and so on. But like Warhammer 3 is like the main title at the moment, you know? How are you finding getting the update going? How are you finding just working on the usual after a official patch comes and breaks everything? How does that work, you know?
So there are two things, yeah, really here, because like first of all, I would say that this update, so the dispatch, as you said, was the least game-breaking update we had in the history of the game, really, because of the lack of changes. But the other thing is that it's not that like we are working only when the DLC drops. We are always working between the DLCs. So for example, for this update, we were working on big reworks for Bretonia, for Norska, and also Ogre Kingdoms. And those things were ready before the DLC was released. And when the DLC released, we are looking on things that can get more adjustments. For example, as Kislev Cafe and Zinj didn't got a lot of things with the DLC, so we want to get back to them because we know that the developers won't have time for them because they will be focusing on different factions right now. Yeah, that's why the manifestation that you said and other things that we mostly take from the community, because we always ask people what they don't use in the game, and if so you don't use something, then it means that it's bad. Yeah, that's why we are changing those. But in terms of the updates, it's going very smooth, and we are slowly going to the release of this update.
That's
with some
awesome.
sneak peeks that we can talk later on, and secret stuff we have that people should be happy about.
Sweet. See, I echo the sentiment about the manifestations. I'll be very honest. I think the only manifestation that I do use throughout all the factions that have available to them is literally, this is the vanilla ones, Scarbrand one that summons the army to attack him, right?
It's the first one he gets.
Yeah.
In terms of utility, it's one of the best. I think.
Like all the others, I completely forget exist, which is a bit of a shame because obviously, they're supposed to be like a cool mechanic, and
Yeah. The problem with them is that they were meant to be more interesting rituals,
Yes.
from Warhammer 2.
Yeah.
But rituals in Warhammer 2 had the set conditions to unlock them. When you have them, you can use them, and they work ASAP. And they were very cool for different faction. But with Manifestation in Vanilla, we have things like that your army cannot move for 3 turns, or you get some negatives for using them. And they were like, some cool on paper, but they, in my opinion, they really need a rework in Vanilla game, like a serious rework.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, honestly, because like I understand what they were trying to do. It kind of harkens back to something in the 8th edition army book for the Demons of Chaos. So I was like, oh, I get it. It's just not there,
Yeah. This is like a bit missed point. A good example of it would be the Harmony system recently. Yeah, like Harmony in Vanilla was not perfect, but I think it needed adjustment when it was like totally changed right now, and I'm still mixed about this change.
Yeah.
It's like removing the problem without fixing it.
So I liked the original version of Harmony really a lot. I know it was a lot of mathematics and so on, but to me that felt like a tabletop thing. Like to me it felt like, oh, I have to synergize my army list and stuff. Whereas
I never had a problem with it. Like Grand Cafe Vanilla faction was the best for me.
Yeah. It had a lot of fun to it, but like now it just feels like it's just, oh, you're getting benefits and that's it. I was like, that's awesome, but basically that's just stripped down version of you on Bow in a sense, in a very basic way, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just no brainer. Yeah, if something is just no brainer, then why?
Yeah,
it's like similar to Authority for Empire.
Yes.
In Vanilla, because you're getting the authority and you're getting it in such a fast pace that you never look on it. You just use it, when you need to manage the resources. Like the new resources that we got in Warhammer 3 factions are better balanced right now, in my opinion. At least to the middle game, because later on it really goes crazy. Chaos Dwarfs are a good example, but like the Warhammer 2 factions resources were very redundant after 20-30 turns.
Yeah, actually, now that you mentioned Chaos Dwarfs, right? I'm going to be honest, I was hoping that Shadows of Change was going to bring in the complexity that the Chaos Dwarfs did. Because I'll tell you what, I really liked the Chaos Dwarfs. I love the fact that, the multi resources that worked with each other and stuff like that. I love the complexity. I actually thought that was one of the best things that have ever happened to the series, because we were going to get less dumbed down, more... You're going to get big benefits from this. You're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to have to think, which is something that I really like in Total War. Like, obviously, older games, you had to think a lot more rather than just, like, here, get someone with, like, certain spells and just demolish. So I kind of feel disappointed that we lost, or, well, we didn't get that complexity brought forward, in a sense. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Like the Chaos Dwarfs were the best DLC faction, in my opinion. Only the second, my favorite in terms of factions, like the base release would be Vampire Coast, because it was very well-rounded faction. Yeah. But yes, Chaos Dwarfs and the fact that you have more resources and each of those resources have different uses is a thing that I always like. I think the biggest problem of most vanilla factions in Warhammer is that you have gold, and it's so easy to get gold that, it gets redundant very fast, Other faction that CA also, I think, made amazing in terms of like the resources like Chaos Dwarfs were the Beastmen rework.
Yes. I love that one so much. It actually made the Beastmen fun.
Yeah, because like it's not even like they added some new resources, but the fact that they remove treasures, so gold, from units, so no recruitment and upkeep, really opened a lot of things. Yeah. And for example, I think it would be work very well for Nakai if it had an upkeep, or Changeling, because right now I'm working very deep on Changeling, and the biggest problem with the Changeling is not that he has those new resources that I say they are very nice. The problem is that he's a wait turn simulator again. So old horde faction problem.
It's one of those. It's one of those really odd things because like you can see what the design idea was for like Shadows of Change. I mean, I like the Changeling, but I'm only going to play him once, right?
I played 20 turns and I lost total interest with him.
Yeah,
that's the problem. Yeah, and right now, as we are working on the DLC factions, the most work is on Changeling because we finished Yuan Bo in like 2 days, and we are working almost a week on Changeling only. How to make him more smooth, more interesting, and so you want to play above this 20 turns, with him. With the factions, like getting to the main topic, like Chaos Dwarfs, because of how many resources you have, so how many mechanics you have that you need to progress through, to get the power. It's very cool faction because you feel like you're weak at the beginning and you are getting more power, more opportunities. With the changing, the problem is that you're getting all the power at once.
Yeah.
It's like Tower Rocks 2.0, in my opinion.
It's like it's cool because like you do obviously get that feeling that you are a Zenchian faction, you know, going into all the different theaters and doing all your little stuff, but like it gets to the point where it feels a little tedious, right?
Yeah. It's you don't see the point in doing this because you are so powerful already. Why should you do it? Yeah.
Exactly. I like Yuan Bo, but he's way too strong. His faction is just insane, and I understand why they've done that. But that means that the next cafe faction, if there ever is one, has to be, if not as strong or stronger. And I hate the power creep.
Yeah, but the power creep is the problem of this game since Warhammer 2.
Yeah.
I think the first DLC that was total power creep was the Ikit Claw.
Yes.
The only thing is that the Skaven overall received good DLCs, only the Pestilence and Clan Morse, I would say that they are very weak in compared to the rest. But like the Grom and the Punch.
Yeah.
The Warden and the Punch DLC. So playing Grom makes that you should not play any other Greenskins factions. Right now, even in the game. There's no reason to play other factions. Because you can play Grom, you can confederate the rest and have everything that's best. Yuan Bo is the same situation right now.
Yeah.
He's even better because he has better compass.
Yeah. Better compass, much better buildings because obviously he can turn them into like districts and so on, and then you get faction-wide bonuses which make you horrendously strong. And I'm not knocking at it because it's kind of cool. Not too keen on the start position, but then again, you've got the choice of abandoning Lustria if you so wish and just like continuing Cafe. So what I did in a live stream actually is I built from both. By turn 70, I had all of Cafe and a little chunk of Lustria still. Like I had roadblocks because Mazdamundi is like really aggressive lately. So it was nice to be able to have that variety. But like he just felt too strong because by turn 70 I had all of Cafe, you know, so it was like it was a bit much. But
I totally agree with this. Like people were saying that the most let's say work went into Changeling, and I don't agree with that because Yuan Bo really feels like someone played him.
Oh yeah,
he was tested. He was played. At least in my opinion from my testing. When Changeling, it was a good concept, they made it, but there was not like a second thought to it. As Mother of Stanka, there was no thought at all when making her. But Yuan Bo really fell rounded, and the same situation was in the Vanilla Cafe for me when the game was released. It's a very well-rounded faction. Someone played it.
So I kind of agree. I feel like the most dev time went into the Changeling because obviously about the mechanics and so on.
Yeah.
A lot of love went into Yuan Bo, which is obviously different from dev time. And then Ostankia, I don't know, man. A lot of people have been saying it's like, oh, you're bringing too much lore into it when you talk about it. It's like, well, yeah, because when we hear about Hags, you know, they're supposed to be very important. We got a Chaos Creature as a unit, which I did not like. Like, the thing in the woods is a Chaos Creature. It says it in the unit card. It's always been a Chaos Creature. Anyone who played Mordheim, the tabletop game, would know that it's a Chaos Creature. And it's like, why? And I remember, like, a bunch of my viewers going, well, maybe she found a way to purify them. It's like, that's not how Chaos works. That's an Age of Sigmar thing. They can purify you in Age of Sigmar. Keep that in Age of fucking Sigmar. Like, Chaos is supposed to be permanent, right? That's why Prague constantly gets destroyed, for example, in lore, right? Because it's chaos. So I didn't like the thing. The Incarnate didn't make sense to me. The Incarnate should be with beast spellcasters, right? And I know people are going to say, well, the Hags have access to the lore of beasts. It's like, well, they shouldn't. They should have access to their own lore. The Incarnate should be with, obviously, the Beastmen, which it is. It should also be with the Empire, because the Empire do actually summon those in. The Incarnates themselves are summons. They're not living, breathing creatures. They're just living magic, in a sense. You summon them when you are very desperate. So the Imperials being kind of stupid. We've seen through many years of lore how there are loads of stupid Imperials in the franchise. Yeah, they're going to summon it. They're going to have it kill someone else, and then it's going to turn back and kill them.
Yeah, and that fits. Fits. It's like it could be like a miscast mechanic, yeah.
Exactly.
Summons them, and they are like your own troops. But I really don't feel Stankia overall. Sadly, I don't like Kislev how it is right now.
Yeah.
Especially that Kislev is very based on culture of mind, so Polish one, and it made them too fantasy, I would say.
Yeah.
It was very grounded, very grim faction, and I really like it, in lore at least. But Mother of Stankia is like the best example how the new concept is not working at all for the Kislev. It feels like a very patchwork. It's like a Frankenstein monster. Her mechanic in terms of the courses is fine. I would say it's not the best, and it's not the worst. It's good. But the problem is that when you're playing her, you have boyars and you have monsters, those spiders, things like that. Why? Even I don't like the fact that she's summoning those spiders and bats. It's like it fits Drycha, things like that, because she gets the forest, but she should have like own goals. The Kossars, like the real Kossars, I mean, people that are living in the woods, huntsmen. Even those Ashkina ambushers, I think they should just be renamed or something different.
See, I like the ambushers because they're actually from something from lore. They're actually from the second edition Kislev roleplay supplement, and it kind of got there. They're a secret.
I even have it.
Yeah, like it's a good book, isn't it? It's a really good book.
Somewhere.
Yeah, he's going to pick it up. But it is actually a very good book. To those of you watching, like it is.
It's a Polish edition, but I have it.
Dude, I love Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay so much. It is so freaking good, isn't it?
It's like the second rule book for tabletop.
I love that, honestly. But there's secret police, right? And I understand why they got added in. Like, they can use a lore perspective of they're keeping an eye on Ostankia and stuff. But the problem is that, first up, she shouldn't have been Ostankia. She should have just been Baba Yaga. Like, that was...
I don't understand this decision at all.
Well, there was talk saying that she's just a new character. She's not Baba Yaga. But then when you go into her unit card, and I think maybe Creative Assembly seemed to forget that we know where the unit cards are, it says, like, it's literally just copy-pasting her lore. It's like, if it's not her, but it's copy-pasting the lore, that means that Baba Yaga's gone, and you're just trying not to acknowledge that. Hag Lord should have definitely been a thing. I don't like boyars ruling it, obviously. It just makes sense. And there's loads of weird and fantastical creatures that could have been added in to actually give Kislev more life if they wanted to go monster heavy, right? Like frost fiends are a thing in lore, right? We also know of like obviously elks are very important. I mean, everyone was expecting like Tsarina Catherine having her elks because
she has bears.
Yeah.
What do you don't like about it?
I'm so tired of bears, man. Technically, we got a bear in this DLC too, because the Akshina guys are wearing a bear skin, you know? Like,
Tarif made a fantastic video about them.
It's kind of funny. Like, they're just finding any excuse to bring in bears. And I wouldn't mind it. Like, I want to see more. I was expecting this, like many others, to be the Ungol DLC, obviously. Because in lore, we know that the Ungols gravitate more towards the... obviously the Hags. It's something that's embedded into their culture.
I have an image for Kislev.
Oh god, like the artwork, yeah.
Very, very old, but yeah, this is Kislev, how it should look, yeah?
Yeah.
There were so many opportunities with Mother of Stankia to make it good and fix problems that Kislev has. None of them were taken, in my opinion. Like Incarnate doesn't work at all. We don't have a Hag Lord. I can spoil right now that we are making the Hag Lord for SFO. It will be a Lord for everyone, for all the Kislev faction, and it will be also released as a standalone mod for Vanilla,
That's
with
great,
its
yeah.
own fully lore of Hags that we are working on right
That's
now.
incredible.
It will be working similar like the Dwarf Runic
Yeah,
magic.
perfect.
So it won't be using Winds of Magic, things like that, and won't have a miscast and so on. But it's still in works. It will be released with SFO and for Vanilla, so for everyone.
That is awesome. Honestly, that is great because obviously, like, not everyone plays SFO, and obviously some people play with some like faction mods that might not be like linked up. So having the opportunity to either you can use it in SFO when you play SFO, but if you're not using SFO in this campaign, you can use it in a vanilla format. That is great. That is honestly really, really great. It obviously it's great for the community who were desperately wanting the lore of Hags. I mean, I was one of those people. I was reading through like the Kislev supplements for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, going, "Oh, these would be so cool," you know. And then it's like, no, you're getting them in the form of curses or blessings, and that's it. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
that's not
good
great.
example of it is that like when CE had a lot of effort to do things like that was the Snakeage and Malus DLC. We received the new lore of you need to remind me the name
Lore of
Assassins.
Stealth, yeah, Lore of Stealth.
Lore set, and it was used only for this DLC. And then if you had the DLC, you can use it everywhere. But there was a big new lore only added because of the, let's say, smaller DLC even, yeah, because it was lord only 2 lords, but it was made. And if you're looking on the smallest DLC right now, it had so much content.
I actually really liked that because it was a throwback to Mordheim, the tabletop game, and obviously like 6th editions too. But like the main thing was like seeing the lore of stealth and those spells. It's like, oh my god, this is just taking me back to when I was like a little kid playing Mordheim, and it made me really, really happy. And that's what I want from those DLCs. Maybe obviously I'm a bit different to like most people, but as a like tabletop guy, when I see stuff in like DLCs and it makes me think of my childhood, it's like, oh god damn, you know, that's what makes me excited to play it. And I did have some excitement from Shadows of Change, like seeing the Jade Lions was kind of cool because those were a thing back in the day in 3rd edition, right? A little bit before my time, but I am a person who likes to like buy a lot of really old stuff, right? So I was going into that and going, oh my god, you know, like, oh wow, like it's old school stuff being reimagined, but still it's old school.
But you know, like you're looking more like a lore perspective. I'm always, you know, more. I like lore of Warhammer, I'll be honest, but I always like to look on the DLCs on opportunities in terms of modding mechanics that we can use, but also if the units added are really giving something to the faction. Yeah, and with all due respect, as I really like Lions, they are doing nothing for the vanilla.
Oh no, they
are. We have Terracotta Automaton, and it's way better.
Yeah,
in every shape or form. That's why, for example, in SFO we are changing this unit to 4 entities. The Lions will be the packs, yeah. So that way they have way more use. And even if we look on the DLCs in the past, like in Warhammer 2, Warhammer 3, like everyone says that the Queen and the Crown was the worst DLC, yeah, in Warhammer 2. I think it was one of the best, in my opinion. Okay. Why? Because the units that they added there are the core units of the factions to this day.
Yeah, fair point.
Sisters of Avalon, Medusas, units like that, they are core of the faction. The mechanics were not the best, yeah? They were simple, but they at least worked fully. And they are quite balanced even to this day. But the units that were added out there were very groundbreaking for those factions. Yeah.
I mean, I kind of liked Alariel's mechanic. It felt nice, you know? Like you said, it was simple, but it was nice.
I never had a problem with it. Also, remember that the Sword of Cain was released with it.
Yeah, that was
that was the cool mechanic, yeah? But when you look on other DLCs like the Hunter and the Beast, yeah, so Nakai and Hunt Marshal, I think it's one of the worst DLCs in Warhammer 2.
Yes, I can totally agree.
None of the units has any use in the rosters.
Well, I remember seeing the trailer and stuff, and I saw war wagons, and I'll be really honest with you, like nobody used war wagons back in the days of the tabletop, so it was like, why is this a thing?
That's why it's replenishing ammo in SFO, because it has no use.
Yeah.
But okay, the Saurian was cool.
The Saurian is
as a model,
epic,
but
yeah.
Saurian was not working on the release as a model. He was
Yeah.
not hitting anything. Yeah, he had collision problems, and then both of those faction felt terrible to play. They on paper they looks very complex.
Have you
very
noticed
cool.
that my cat can actually just show up every now and
Yeah,
then?
he's showing from time to time. I'm not saying anything. He's like a ghost, you know, of Christmas past.
I've just honestly noticed, it's like, what are you doing?
No, he's showing from time to time. It's cool. It's like a premonition of chaos. So getting back to like those both factions, Nakai and Hand Marshal, were looking great on the paper, but in terms of playing, to these days they are the worst campaigns, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, the Hunts Marshal had some fun mechanics with reinforcements and stuff. It made you feel like you were stuck with a certain amount of troops and you had to get there. Nakai...
It's annoying on long term.
Oh, yeah. And Nakai is just boring. Nakai, you're playing babysitter, and it's just... I don't want to play that, man. Especially, like... I don't really want to play the Lizardmen, if I can be very honest with you. I don't want to play Lizardmen at all, unless it's Oxyotl. I think Oxyotl has a fun campaign.
Yeah. Overall, I think Lizardmen in vanilla right now, if I would like say one faction that is the worst right now, it would be Lizardmen. I would not say North Scout, things like that. I think Lizardmen are really in bad position, especially if you're not playing DLC, even the Henawin or Oxyotl, as you said. They are terrible faction. Yeah. Terrible buildings, terrible
tech tree.
Technology, tech trees. Just that's why we removed it fully in the mod.
Yeah.
And only good thing is that the roster.
Yeah.
They had very very cool roster, yeah, and the Lord Croc, like the win button. But again, those are not the things that you want to play again with them, and that's my biggest grip with this faction.
It's just a shame because there's like loads of races. I generally will do a campaign with every single legendary lord, right? Because I play this game a lot, right? It's not just because it's like a job, but it's also because I enjoy the series. So if I play with, say, for example, the Tomb Kings, phenomenal DLC, I will play all of them, right? They've all got varied starts, even though like 3 of them are very close to each other. But obviously from a lore perspective, that makes sense. I will play them all. I will enjoy it. I will have fun with it. Same thing with every other faction. There are certain factions that I can't play vanilla. Like I need to have them modded in one way, shape, or form because they are just boring. Lord Skroak that you mentioned prior, right? He's not in a good place. And believe me, all I really would say is like plague mechanics, and he's done, right? Because that's what makes sense from his faction, Pestilence. But I generally try to play them all. It's just Lizardmen I've tried, and I've really tried, and it's just like, no, I can't. I really can't. They need DLC sooner rather than later at this point just to fix them up, and a few more like hidden away units. I'd love to see Colchins. Who doesn't want to see a giant murder turkey, right?
Yeah, but like if you look on the Lizardmen, I think this is the only faction that never got any rework or adjustment, even the small ones. Yeah,
that's all.
They got a Lord Croc, but this is an addition. Like if you look on the Dark Elves, they had the slaves mechanics removed and added back. We had the High Elves, the Intrigue at Court rebalanced by CA, smaller things or bigger things, but Lizardmen never got anything.
Yeah, I mean the funny thing is they had 3 DLCs. They had 3, right? Yeah, Tenowin was paid, right? Nakai and Oxyotl, 3 DLCs and no reworks.
Ecto was free also.
Oh yeah, and he was actually quite fun though.
Yeah, he's okay, but they never got anything. Even Norska got more content since release than the Lizardmen.
That is very true. That is honestly very, very true. It's odd because you'd think a faction that got that much content, that much DLC, was going to get a little bit more attention in the back end, right?
Yeah. But they never got anything. Yeah, I never thought about it too much, but right now it's like, the Lizardmen are in the worst position right now in the game. Some are very tedious to play, like for example Empire we talked about, the Authority, but it's really not working, especially with so many enemies right now. But the Lizardmen are the worst position in the game, and we don't have any information about the DLCs for them.
Honestly, I don't think, because like a lot of people were speculating that Lizardmen were going to be in the one after Thrones of Decay, because obviously we got the Slaanesh, Slaanesh picture. I think it's going to be Slaanesh, High Elves, and Dark Elves, because it's like it's one of the big matchups, you know?
Yeah, it's thematic.
I mean, hopefully they do that, because like CA, and this is like, I'm not trying to sound bad about it, guys. I know that you guys are listening in and so on, but CA either do really good theme DLC, like really, really good ones, and then most of it isn't really good theming, which is, I mean, it's not important, but it does help, you know? Theming is important in that regard.
Yeah, yes. Some DLCs in Warhammer 2 had very good story.
Yeah.
In terms of like the even the Lord packs, I would say. The only one that I really did not like was the Wood Elves one. So the Sisters of Twilight against Throt, they were like, really?
Yeah. Well, the rework was good at least, right? Like.
Yeah, the Wood Elves rework was really good. Like this is the rework on par with the Beastmen. I have nothing bad to say about it. Like the Beastmen, Wood Elves, Greenskin reworks all were the best. I really hate the Empire one, but we talked about it. Those were really good, yeah. In Warhammer 3, besides the Warriors of Chaos, because they had a rework, we really did not have anything for over a year right now.
Yeah.
And we all were thinking that the pace of Warhammer 2 will be stable. Yeah, Warhammer 3 will have the same pace of updates, reworks, things like Warhammer 2. And right now with the updates, I don't see much of a change. As you asked about the SFO at the beginning, how much is going with the fixing of the mod? There's no fixing really right now.
Yeah.
I didn't need to fix anything because so little content was really added to the game.
Yeah.
There were some adjustments, but are there worth 4 months of waiting for the next DLC?
So you've got more, the more work that's being done from you guys right now is more additions rather than just corrections, right?
Yeah. Right now we are more working on making those like Ostanka and Changeling to be more fun as a factions, and also working on those additions that we think that should be added. Yeah, like for example, we are adding the Gatemaster hero to all the Cafe factions.
Cool.
Also, a great model made by the Baron. And
I love his stuff. He's such a really, really good modder. Honestly, I really am a big fan of it.
Yeah. He's making amazing work. He also, some of his mods are already in terms of models in SFO, and we are making this Hag Lord for everyone also. Yeah.
That's
so things that I think should be with this DLC, especially if we're talking about a price increase. Yeah.
Yeah. The price for me was just like, the problem is like, and I've said this to people, for me it wasn't about the price. I would happily pay 25 euros for a DLC if everything that was attached to the DLC was worth 25 euros. You know, it's about the content.
I agree.
And
it was same case with Chaos Dwarfs.
Yes.
It was worth it. Maybe I would say it still was a bit overpriced. Yeah. Maybe the jump was just too fast.
Yeah.
Let's say in terms of pricing of this, but in terms of like factions to play, yeah, you should buy it. This is a good DLC. A bit overpriced right now. It's on sale, so it's easier. But the Shadows of Change, as you said, it's not about the price. Those are, besides you and Bow, I don't want to play Mother of Stanka right now or the Changeling.
Yeah.
Besides one campaign, short one campaign.
The way I always see with DLC in its value is, first up, like, obviously it's a bit different from a point of a content creator, but the way I see it is, if I'm willing to make content for it, it shows that I'm having fun. Whereas for Shadows of Change, I was only doing like a video a day, which is very little compared to my usual like stuff. You've seen me doing, like, for example, Chaos Dwarfs. I was doing 3, 4, sometimes 5 videos a day. I was streaming for like 12 hours a day. I was having fun.
Yeah, because this is a fun faction.
Exactly. Whereas this, it didn't feel that much. And I understand, like, a lot of people were feeling that way. A lot of people were kind of tired because it was not just the drama. It was just, if it's not that fun, why am I going to do it, right? Like, why am I going to waste my time, in a sense?
You know, one thing also that I just saw is that Shadows of Change is the first DLC in a very long time that is same on a big map and the small map in the game.
Yeah.
Because like Chaos Dwarfs has different mechanic in Realms of Chaos and different in Immortal Empires, and usually that was the case with the DLCs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some like I think the Queen and the Crown didn't have it, but all the rest has it. Yeah. You have this overarching story. You need to go make those quest battles. Stuff like that, like the Vampire Coast quest battle, amazing battle to this day. It's looking freaking amazing. Tomb Kings, so on, and Shadow of Change doesn't have it.
Yeah, it's an odd thing. I feel like a lot of attention is going to the Realm of Chaos campaign, where, let's be honest, I mean, I can't speak for the community, but I can speak for myself. I honestly could care fucking less about the Realm of Chaos campaign.
Yeah, this is very strange because I played Vortex to the end of Warhammer 2 Live. I'm not playing Realms of Chaos at all.
Yeah.
I really hate this map. There's something odd with it that doesn't work.
It's because it doesn't feel like the map, right? Like, for example, when you look at it, right, the orientation is off, right? The map.
Yeah, the orientation is one thing.
They changed a lot of how the settlements are. Like, Talabecland is tiny in Realm of Chaos and so on. And it just feels like this is not the same world that we were playing in. This was something that you guys did, but it isn't like copy-pasted, which it should have been copy-pasted. Have in the Empire, push down that way, and just not make it this. It just didn't feel like Warhammer. It felt like we're making a separate game in a sense, right?
Yeah, but on the other side, you have a brilliant prologue, so tutorial campaign.
Yes.
This is amazing. This is the best thing that CA did in years, I think. And those two multiplayer campaigns, thanks to the mods, we were able to play them in single player. And those maps are good. Those small maps, the Rotten Kislev and the K5 one. But the Realms of Chaos is the orientation is strange. The Empire is looking like a minor faction. Yeah. Nothing really works out there. I don't know. Like, yeah, I think the map is the biggest problem there.
People can't get engaged when they're already used to certain things. It's not like everyone, like, obviously a lot of the fan base just wanted the Immortal Empires more because big map, right?
Yeah.
But, like, it's just, it needed to feel similar. If it felt similar, then people would probably be more into it. The issue for me is, because obviously there was work done, and I feel like the Changeling is a very good example where more work was done into the Changeling's mechanic for Immortal Empires than it was for actually Realm of Chaos, because you have more theaters. Why did this have to get done twice then? Why couldn't this have just been a DLC? Because now Immortal Empires is free. You don't need the free games. So
yeah, that is very big W for Creative Assembly for doing this. Yeah,
exactly. But make the DLCs only for Immortal Empires. Do some for Realm of Chaos where it fits, but like just half your work and get more other content into that DLC because you don't have to focus on doing the same mechanic twice and making it different.
Yeah, I don't know if you like something that, but I really like the mini campaigns from Warhammer 1 and 2.
I do.
We didn't have the 1 and 2, but like the Beastman one, I really like it. It was very lore-driven, the text, everything.
Yeah.
The Wood Elves also.
Yeah.
And I think they would be working perfectly here because Total War is a game to play for a very long time. Yeah. We are having hundreds of hours to play it, but many of us are getting old. I'm not, of course I'm not, but we don't have so much time. And I would love to sit down and play a campaign that is maximum 50 turns, like the prologue campaign. Small, like this Rota and Kislev one, I think those should be changed to single player, just available to everyone without the mods. You just want to sometimes sit down and play. And I think if you would cut the Realms of Chaos to only Kislev with Norska or things like that, it would be working way better. If you can narrow them up, it won't be such crazy. Or make the Darklands only, make the Civil War against the Chaos Dwarfs, something like that.
Yeah.
And someone sits down, have only 2 hours to play, and he plays it, and it's fine. And it's good experience, because sometimes if I'm sitting down later evening and I have only 2 hours to play, I'm not launching Total War.
Yeah.
I don't have time.
It's true. I mean, I play long campaigns, but I'll be honest with you, I'm one of those people where if I start a campaign, I'm going to try and see how far I can go. On average, I think I do about 400 turns and stuff, and by that point, I've like conquered most of the world.
400 turns, that is like double of what I'm doing usually.
Yeah, but I stream it a lot, you know, so I'm usually doing it as I'm chatting to people and stuff. And even on my own personal campaigns, I must admit, I'm not playing that much Total War on my own personal time anymore. I think it's obviously that there's been a burnout with the community. It's very obvious, you know.
I think it's not even the burnout, but look on this year in gaming.
Yeah.
We have so many amazing games that sadly are way better quality under release.
Yeah,
and
I totally agree.
Yeah, I recently had the time to play Remnant 2. It's like a Souls-like, but with shooters. And goddamn it, this game is so polished on the release. It's not as big game, but it's so polished. Everyone is talking about Baldur's Gate. You played it. I didn't have time.
Non-stop. Non-stop.
Yeah, and
there.
again, the game that treats you in a way, I would say, not only those games, but many games that they respect your time. Yeah. And if I'm playing Total War, I sometimes feel that the game doesn't respect my time.
Yeah. I think that is honestly, respect your time is probably the best way of saying it. Yeah, like because there's like more bugs coming in than fixes. A lot of the fixes don't actually work. I must admit, I got really angry when they posted, "Oh, we fixed the rice fields maps," right? So I was like, I'm going to go check it out, because that was the main reason why I didn't want to play as Zhao Ming, because the rice fields are a very common map in Cafe, and yeah. So I did a little video, and yeah, they fixed 2 maps. There's like 6 different rice field maps. So for me, it was like,
But they fixed 2.
Yeah, it's like, that's not really fixing stuff. Maybe you guys forgot that there's other ones, but that already kind of killed off a lot of my motivation, which is kind of sad, because I like Cafe. I think Cafe as a design, the faction looks very cool. Since they got announced in Warhammer 3, I was always like, God damn, I can't wait for these to be miniatures, because I can't wait to paint these guys. They look incredible, you know?
I'm hyped for Cafe miniatures, to be honest. I would like to see.
If they look like what we have in Total War, like, God damn, that's going to be incredible.
Yeah. The dragons especially.
Yeah. Though painting white scales is going to be difficult. But I tell you, like, it looks awesome. And I want that feeling in the game. So, like, if the core maps aren't working, if they're lagging, if they're causing frame drops and stuff.
This is like the thing that we didn't had at the beginning of Warhammer 2, I would say. Because people really forget that the launch of Warhammer 2 was way worse than Warhammer 3. Was way worse. The game was working like shit. Warhammer 1 factions were not changed at all. They were not working on the release even. They were not changed, like the building tiers, cost. Nothing was changed. It was terrible. And CE patched them very fast.
Yes.
Like each update was very significant. We had the potion of speed. We had landmarks. We had even this experimental patch, if you remember, about changing the economy.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't like those changes, but I really appreciate that they tried it.
Yeah.
They wanted to check something, talk with the community, experiment on like the old things that Total War have, and yeah. And then we are going to Warhammer 3, and people are asking about fixing the map, and CA is fixing texture clipping, and we are saying, but we wanted the map to work, but we fixed the texture clipping. And the same situation is with a game that both of us played a lot, so Vermintide 2 and Darktide.
Yeah.
Games that people were giving very good feedback to those games to fix them from day one, and then the Fat Shark was, but we fixed the texture, but we wanted to make, so the game doesn't crash, but we fixed the texture.
I honestly, I think my heart broke more with Darktide than it did with Warhammer 3.
I was prepared for it. I was prepared for it after Vermintide 2, especially that I had a cooperation with Fast Shark out there. We were making the mod that was promoting the game in Warhammer 2, that was Vermintide.
Yeah.
And so many promises were never met. They were maybe after 5 years of Vermintide 2. So I didn't believe in Darktide. I really didn't believe, so I didn't get disappointed.
I had a lot of hope, and then obviously a lot of stuff that was promised is still not out yet, like it's still not out yet. It's been almost a year. But then there was the whole Tencent buying Fat Shark thing, which to me said, yeah, this company's dying. I mean, it's also happened to Techland recently. I'm so disappointed.
And they are doing the same thing in Dying Light,
Yeah.
as they did in Dark Light. So in-game shop with higher prices than what you can buy, they made exact thing in Dying Light too.
Yeah, that is a like I like if anyone's watching this, right? Like, if you see a company and that they're owned by Tencent, avoid it like the fucking plague. They are a cancer in this fucking industry.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
They are from good games. They are making like a cash shops, and
it broke my heart, man. Like Dying Light 2 was a game that pushed me to Twitch, to like streaming and stuff, right?
It was a really good game. I agree with that.
The main story was a bit bad, but like the side missions were
a bit bad.
Yeah,
a bit.
But
I would say first game story. Let's just stop here. I always say this example. This is a Polish game. Yeah. So this is only Polish game that I disable Polish voices ASAP because it's so fucking terrible. And first game story, I would rank it like 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so bad. But the story in second game is like -1 out of 10.
Yeah. The side missions were good though. The
side missions maybe, but the cutscenes, everything just didn't work in the. But the gameplay is amazing.
Yeah, it's fluid.
Gameplay in Dying Light 2 is one of the best gameplays you can have.
Yeah.
Especially in first person. Yeah. It's like I always saying that if CD Projekt Red wrote a story and the Techland made the gameplay, it would be the best game ever.
It's a massive shame, and now I have no incentive to go back. They keep teasing another DLC, which is supposed to continue the story. They even like teased that they were gonna like continue the story of Crane, which is like, God, yeah, we've all wanted to know what's happened with Crane, right, from game one.
So this is a main character from the first game.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't care. I don't want to do a new DLC if you guys are just going to throw in predatory monetization, which unfortunately is becoming more and more common in gaming. It was already common, but it's becoming more and more common. It does feel a little bit like that, like it's happening to Total War, which is actually a perfect way to segment. No holds barred, as a modder, as someone really prolific in the community, what do you think about Pharaoh? I fucking blindsided you there, didn't I?
Okay, that was unexpected, to be honest. I will get back to maybe I was never a historical Total War player. Yeah, I played a lot of strategy game, but I was more like a settler, StarCraft, Warcraft, things like that. And I wanted to get to the historical with Three Kingdoms, but the problem for me was that the UI of the game is very not good for people that have colorblind, and I have a colorblind, and I see nothing on the map, and I really had problems with it. But I kind of like it. But at the time, Warhammer 2 was at its peak, so we were modding like crazy, so didn't have time to play it.
Yeah.
Then I really wanted to play Troy because I love this time period. I love Achilles. He's my childhood hero. And then I played it for a while on Epic, and I was like, why should I play it when I have a Warhammer?
Yeah, it felt
just
like
makes
Warhammer.
everything better. Yeah, and being fully honest, Pharaoh is the game that I'm not even going to look on any stream, gameplay, things like that.
Yeah.
Nothing that they've shown so far, even in your videos, nothing kept my interest.
So, one of the things that I will always say, because how far did you play into Pharaoh? Did you play any of the DLCs and stuff?
Troy,
yeah.
I played maybe like 100 turns, nothing more. Yeah.
But did you play any of the DLCs?
No.
So with Troy, I keep getting confused because it's basically the same game. Let's be honest, it is literally.
So I hear, but I cannot compare. So.
Yeah, but like I know a lot of creators are basically saying it's the same, and it does feel the same to me. Which I know doesn't sound like the nicest thing to say, but it's just how it feels. Now, one thing that I will always heavily praise Troy for was their DLCs. Because their DLCs, their mechanics are really, really good. Anytime.
I remember you made about the video, the horde mechanic. There was like a very cool horde mechanic.
Yeah.
was then implemented to
the Wars of Chaos, exactly. And there's a lot of mechanics that were introduced into Troy, which is slowly bleeding into Warhammer, and it shows that the team, the CA Sophia, when they are given like open time that they can work on their stuff, they can make really fucking cool stuff. And I've said it many times on videos, I wish that they were the Warhammer DLC team, because they are really good at coming up with new mechanics and new toys to play with. Like I've always said, like for example, that the Amazon mechanic. Then also it would be really cool if we had the Memnon mechanic to introduce Dogs of War, because obviously there was some pretty intentional leak for the Dogs of War recently.
Yeah. There was two battle entities. So for those that don't know, battle entities is a table that indicates mass of a unit speed, the animation intervals when they spin, things like that. And there were two. Yeah.
It seemed very convenient, right? Like
Very
straight
convenient.
after a shit show, oh, look what's just been found in the game files. And they were likely not there before, because...
No. And they don't look also, the stats of they are not looking like an actual legendary lords or heroes. They were just put there.
Yeah.
To people to find.
Yeah.
I'm 100% sure, because CA never did something like that before.
Yeah. They wanted to mask the situation with all the drama, and that's that's what it is, right? And nothing against CA, they're not the first company to do this, they're not the last.
Yeah.
But it felt kind of cheap. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to see Dogs of War, but not with the same strategy that's happened with Shadows of Change. That's something very, very clear.
Yeah. They should get back to what they did with the Chaos Dwarfs, I think.
Yeah, that quality would be insane. Be insane.
Even the cinematics of story in Chaos Dwarfs were amazing. The really amount of work that was put there was really cool.
Yeah. So as a modder too, how do you feel about the state of the community and the state of the game? That's I think.
Okay, so state of the game, I still hold to my Warhammer 3 review from when the game was released. I rank it as a negative, especially because as a modder, I can see how easy it is to fix a lot of things. Yeah, the community backfix mod is showing this the best. Yeah, because this mod is mostly, there are several modders that are making it, and people are just usually making reports to them, and they just fix it, because fixing stuff is so easy, especially if it's table based. No, if it's script, so it's harder, but there are tons of stuff that can be fixed, like the Nakai. How's the Slayer King of Dwarf's name? Ungrim. Slayer's passive was not working, so they were not dying, above the thresholds of health, things like that. It's one record to check, and it's working, So in terms of the game, I think it's in a bad state, because it would be really easy to fix. And people also are usually saying, but more, those fixes, mods will be breaking. No, they won't be. Really, those fixes that our community backfix mode is doing, and it's really fixing the game. It's its own overhaul right now, so many things it's changing. Those things are not breaking the game, not breaking the save at all. But in terms of the community, I think because of how many good games are being released this year, especially with I think the whole drama with Shadows of Change won't be so much if not the Baldur's Gate, especially. Because big companies were getting us used to bad quality products on the release, things like that, and Baldur's Gate came, and everyone were reminded that there can be good games on the release. And because of that, and the fact that many people are tired, I think, of Total War, and this can be a very good thing, not only for, I think, CA, but also for the community, to skip one DLC. Let's skip it, and let's wait for Thrones of Decay. That, let's hope, will be a very big punch for the game, like a big update with actual changes, something on par with a Potion of Speed, things like that. If that's how CA is going to do it, I think the community will get back to it. But right now, me included, I'm tired of this game at this moment.
No, I get you. I'm feeling the same way. A lot of creators are feeling the same way. It's odd when, and I've said it to a lot of people. I've been very vocal about it. When me, of all people, right, one of the biggest Warhammer Fantasy fans in the world, right? I've got one of the biggest armies
Simply
and
wanted
stuff.
to say.
Yeah, simp. That works. That works. I am a massive Warhammer fan, though. I've got 1 million points of Warhammer Fantasy, right? I've got literally one of the largest armies. I beat studios, professional battle report studios in terms of miniature count.
Biggest army in whole Gibraltar.
No. Like, seriously, I've been having a chat with a battle report studio about doing a collaboration soon. I'll tell you about it after the interview. But, like, the guy reached out to me, someone well-known in the community, and he's like, you've got more models than we do in our studio. I was like, yeah. And he goes, I'd love to, like, fly down and do a video on your army. I was like, God damn, yeah. Like, I'm getting them all painted up and running. When that's ready, why not?
For those that don't know, Nathan is sending me every day pictures of his miniatures. I was like, Nathan, I need to fit kid right now. Just wait with those miniatures, okay?
I'm doing like a lot, right? So if the person that's so heavily invested in Warhammer Fantasy does not want to play the Warhammer Fantasy game, there is an issue, right?
Yeah. I think it's linked to the fact that we gave Creative Assembly a depth on the release of the Warhammer 3, that the game will be patched out and it will be in better state with each DLC. Maybe not DLC, but just the patches. And it's not. This depth just dry out with the Shadows of Change, and everyone is just tired of it.
Yeah, I feel like that's it's a shame, but unfortunately, it's the reality of things.
But I don't think it's the end for the Total War community. Like, people are saying that the game will be abandoned. I don't think it will be abandoned. This is just like a turning point.
Yeah. I mean,
just need to get better.
I made a video very recently where I was like, well, I don't think that this is the end, because if Creative Assembly do the worst thing imaginable, which I doubt, considering that this is their moneymaker, like, let's be honest, Hyenas is going to make $2
only right
and that's
now,
it.
I think.
Yeah, it's their only active game. Hyenas is going to make a total of $2. Like, that's it. I'm sorry, but it is. Pharaoh, yes. I feel could do well, but I feel like bringing Pharaoh out now during the Shadows of Change wildfire, is probably not the best idea. I think that they should probably wait with Pharaoh, because it will suffer. Like, that's what's going to happen. And I feel like there's some good parts to Pharaoh, there's some bad parts to Pharaoh. I've not really played much more than 50 turns, unfortunately, because
if I can interrupt for a minute. You are a historical fan more than me, yeah? You played most of the historical
since Rome
games,
1, yeah.
So don't you think that the Pharaoh was a blind shot in terms of the setting?
Oh yeah. Everyone was expecting Medieval 3. Well, a lot of people wanted Empire 2. I personally want Medieval 3. I want Crusaders and Deus Vult and stuff.
Settings of the games are usually linked to what is popular right now, yeah?
Yeah.
God of War 1, when was released, the 2018 remake, we had Viking games everywhere.
Yes.
Assassin's Creed, Northgard, more and more like that. I don't see Egyptian culture popular right now at all.
Well, thing is, Egyptian culture is always kind of popular. There's always like TV shows and documentaries and stuff. For me, it's like
Cleopatra, especially recently.
Yeah, there was drama on that, but like for me, it's like I don't care too much about Egypt. I see it as like, it's cool, don't get me wrong. I mean, I just want like Crusaders and stuff like that, right? Like, I think that's always fun.
Medieval setting is always selling, let's call it.
Yeah.
And it's more safe, I think, like the Crusader Kings, other games. And as people are asking for Medieval 3 for so many years, I think if we had a Medieval 3, just the Pharaoh change to Medieval 3, I think people will be overhyped even.
Yeah, because there is a lot more that you can do there. There's a lot more cultures and stuff like that, so you get more different stuff. Like, yes, a lot of the in medieval Europe, a lot of the countries were very much the same in terms of warfare, which, understandable. But there's also the thing that you get to play as your country, right? So there's that familiarity. That's that thing that people get really into. In Egypt right now with Pharaoh, it's Egypt, the Canaanites, and the Hittites. And it's like big whoop, right? Like there's nothing extra, right? Every faction looks the same.
I think what you said is linking to every game, really, because every game, especially for male, is like a power fantasy in some regards. And who wants to power fantasy in the short skirt of Egyptians?
Yeah.
With all due respect, yeah?
Well,
I don't think this is so appealing setting, especially that for the company that is known for historical games and want to get you back to historical games again. And Pharaoh is not being advertised as a saga game, even if it is a saga game.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. If it would be advertised as a cheaper, what is important, smaller game,
Yeah.
I think it would be way better received than it is right now.
Someone made a joke on the forums, and I tell you what, it gave me a good chuckle. It's like, oh, the reason why Pharaoh is a full price game is because you're paying for that and you're also paying for Troy. I was like,
yeah, from Epic Game Store.
Yeah.
But this is a very good example of that. Yeah. Right now, I think we are very strange spot in overall games in Creative Assembly because we had a Free Kingdoms that was quite a large game. Yeah. And Pharaoh is looking very small in compared when it's way more expensive.
Yeah.
Even if you take inflation into consideration, in my opinion.
It does look like it's like maybe I'm wrong. Like I said, I only played up to 50 turns. We could only play up with Ramses. It was Total War. Like that's literally what I said in my video. I was like, yep, this is a Total War game. Like there didn't feel like there was a lot. Maybe there's more and you see more after the 50 turns. Maybe you'll see more when you play as the different factions. But the Egyptian factions just felt like what we've already known. And from what they've shown of rosters, because they do battle streams every now and then and so on. And it's like, well, all the units look like they're doing the exact same fucking thing. Give me something different, right?
Yeah, this is, I think this is overall the problem with Total War as the sequels, always was, is that sometimes it's just a change of setting. There are no actual improvements, no actual new mechanics, things like that. And this is also the problem of Total War Warhammer 3. Because if you look on improvements for Warhammer 2, they are not as much as they were from 1 to 2nd.
Yeah. And I think that's what disappointed a lot of people. Because clearly people want the same thing, but they want additions to the same thing. Keep what's good and then improve what needed to be improved. And that's why people were so willing to spend that much money. You're going, 60 quid. It's 180 pounds for all 3 games. And then all the other DLC. People don't mind spending the money. It's very obvious that people don't mind spending the money. Just give us what we expect. Give us improvements. Give us more fun. Give us more toys to play with. And
don't downgrade the game. That is like the biggest thing.
Exactly.
Don't take mechanics like there was Dark Elves. Yeah, Dark Elves from Warhammer 2 and Warhammer 3 have less content.
Yeah. It does kind of worry me for future titles because I still I play Free Kingdom still regularly. I'm actually thinking about streaming it again because it's like the best diplomacy system. Let's be honest, their diplomacy system is wonderful.
It was really cool.
So I'm like, I worry about future titles becoming broken at launch. I worry about like an eventual Med 3. There's loads of rumors about an Empire 2, right, being next, and I
Empire or 40k.
Yeah. And I'm scared. Well, first up, if it's Empire 2 next, I'm scared that it's going to break at launch. If Warhammer 40k, if Total War 40k happens, which I really think is going to happen,
it will.
If that breaks at launch, that will kill CA because 40k fans, like, I know CA has like XGW working for them and stuff, but these people, I know what their former jobs were. It's not like Frontline. They didn't have to deal with the absolute psychopaths that a lot of the 40k fandom is. It's like, if this goes bad, you are fucked.
Yeah, the 40k community is way less forgiving, I think, than the fantasy. Because we don't have anything in fantasy right now, yeah?
Exactly.
And look how many bad games we had with 40k.
Yeah.
Recently, especially, yeah? The Space Marine 2 is looking amazing, yeah? Then we had a very good Demon Hunter. It's not the best game, I would say, because it has some problems, but it's a good game.
The Assassins DLC was actually quite good. The
Yeah,
Dreadnought DLC was not good. The Dreadnought DLC was not
I really don't like battles in this game because I'm not a turn-based battle guy. But the campaign, I love it. I
Yeah.
love upgrading my ship, talking with the crew. Everything in terms of lore was great. Then we had the Inquisitor Martyr, the
Yeah.
Diablo-like. It's my guilty pleasure to this day,
Yeah.
but it was not a good game. And
It's-
what else do we have?
I've really liked
Mobile
Battle
games.
Sector. Battle Sector is all right.
I'm very like the first game really bored me to death.
See, I really liked Battle Sector because the devs listen. The devs have been improving the game where possible every time and every chance they get, which is something that I can really give them like a lot of love for. Because they did the one campaign, which was incredibly written. The intro cinematic is one of the best ways to learn. Like, I would say that's better than learning from lore YouTubers who get like hundreds of thousands of views. That 5-minute cinematic literally teaches you everything you need to know about the devastation of Baal and like the rise of the Primaris and stuff. It's like, that is so well fucking done. And then they decided to do that conquest map thing, right? Which is a bit smaller.
I didn't play it with that update.
But it feels good. And I feel like that was quite good. Gladius is also very, very good. But it feels half.
Gladius would be way better if it would not be turn-based.
Yeah, I know, but like that company itself, right? Like the publisher too is known for turn-based, right? And it makes sense to do a turn-based for Warhammer games a lot. I know a lot of people want other stuff. I want a lot of other stuff, but it does make sense.
Yeah, but the Gladius also have one thing that is the best linking the content with the price, I think. Because Gladius is a very cheap game, and this is not a very complex game. Yeah? But if you're looking on like Martyr, Battle Sector, Demon Hunter even, those games are a bit pricey for what they are giving. Besides, if you are not a Warhammer lover.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. If you buy a Warhammer game, you're not just paying for a game; you're paying for the Warhammer name, which
in many
is
cases.
it's an annoying thing. And look, I can't judge. Look at me, right? Like, I've got fucking miniatures here and stuff. You know, I've got a lot of stuff that painting. I have no impulse control. I'm very much the same as the rest of the community. We pay stupid amounts of stuff that we won't use. That model that I just shown has literally been on this table since it launched, and I think it launched about a year and a half ago. Mind you, it's a cool looking stream.
But look, you're saying like community will buy everything, but Shadows of Change was a wake-up call.
We have to wait and see, though. We have to wait and see.
Look on Steam charts.
Yes, it's gone down. Its peak was around 33k, which is honestly abysmal for what it is.
For the first time, DLC didn't pick the players.
Yeah, and I think that's. I think it wasn't just the DLC price. I think if it was just the price alone, people would have bought it. I think what actually stopped everyone from buying it was the very tone-deaf statement going, "Hey."
Yeah, the statement was
That's literally what that's the straw that broke the camel's back on everyone, and I feel like that's literally what. That's what damned them. That's what literally damned them.
Yeah. Legend of Tower made a very good insight on how the community is looking right now because of the statement and everything. Is that the people that are getting to game are the people that already have it. We are not getting new people.
We're not.
You can see it on the Steam discussions. They are the same old timers. I see it same in SFO community, modding community.
Yeah.
In terms of how many subscribers the mods are getting, it's way slower than Warhammer 2.
Yeah.
You can see that they are just people that just came from, not playing the game for several months and just came back. We don't have any new players. The community is not growing.
Yeah.
And the things like with Shadows of Change and this statement are not helping it at all.
At all. And I think they're gonna have to either really do something special for Thrones, or it leads to the death of the series, I think. If Thrones fails, I honestly think the game fails.
You think that there won't be a third DLC, the Slaanesh one?
I feel like they need to make sure that Thrones does well to win back favor with people. Like, don't get me wrong, it's pretty certain it's Tamarkan, right? Because, like, I mean, even in that interview that I did with Rich, he more or less confirmed it's Tamarkan. Now, Tamarkan is a big name character for tabletop fans.
Yeah.
How is someone that isn't a tabletop fan going to get interested in Tamarkan, right? They need to show off fancy mechanics. They need to fix up the problems with Nurgle, let's be honest. Holy shit, what a boring faction to play. And then, you know, we've got Empire, which is one of the most popular. It is the most popular in terms of player count and so on. Like, CA released those statistics.
Yeah.
And I feel like they only did that because Daniel was up, so I feel like they might have lied a little bit, because I would not put Daniel so high up.
Oh, no. Daniel is a good concept, but again, no one played it
Yeah.
before the release.
So, like, I'm looking at it like, well, how is Empire going to get a lot of attention? The dwarfs are also attached to this DLC. Both factions are in desperate need of it. Well, all three factions are in desperate need for attention. It's not as like these three that we had here, which didn't really need that much attention in all things considered. So how are they going to do that when they can't even do the bare minimum, right?
Yeah, adding like an edict to the Kislev is not fixing, the problem with the faction.
It's not.
Many things that they have right now, and I have a same feeling right now, because if they are going to do, like, let's say, a faction rework, but they will slice it into 3 parts and add those things to those 3 factions, so Nurgle, Empire, and both, I think it will be fine. Yeah. So just core mechanics rework. I'm saying it for the ages. The elector count thing, so those random dilemmas in Empire are just awful. They were awful on the release. They are just terrible. With Nurgle, I think the cycle building is just not working. You should have idea is good. You just have a better control of it. And with dwarves, the Grudge system is just boring. I think the forging of runes, especially that we got the slots for the runes recently, this is cool, but the Grudges are just boring. It's a bare minimum faction, and I want to believe that CA will do something, but the rumors are saying that there are very few people that are working on the game right now. All of the rest are hyenas, and there's an unannounced title.
The next unannounced title is Hyenas 2, the sequel.
Hyenas 2 sequel, prequel. Pre-sequel.
It's a dating sim.
Linked with the island isolation. I don't know how company, with having so much love from the community, so much hype after Warhammer 2, can go so low so fast.
It's an odd thing, that's for sure. It is a very odd thing. But unfortunately, people high up like to make stupid mistakes.
But those mistakes are going for over a year right now. Let's hope it won't be a Blizzard situation.
It's felt like a very long year, hasn't it? It's felt like 3.
Really, it felt like 3. Because I think it's how stable and how many content we're getting with Warhammer 2. I, as a modder, had to work all the year. Really had to work all the year, things like the so on. And Warhammer 3, I don't feel it. It's like we are waiting what will be broken in the next update.
But let's go to a little positive side. Obviously, prior to this, and you don't have to share too much before we call it, you've been working on a game.
I'm working on my own game.
How's that going? Are you feeling good? Are you feeling excited? Because obviously it's a big step from going to being one of the biggest modders in the scene, and then deciding, I want to make something of my own. So how's everything going for you guys? You feeling good? You feeling confident?
I won't say I'm feeling confident, because
you never do. I know you too well.
It's same with the own thing. I never think that something is finished. I think in terms of the design, game is fully done, because the game is right now on the stage that you can play it. It's cool. I call it a prototype, but in fact it's like an alpha. You can play all the mechanics. There are sounds. You can click. Nothing breaks as much. And I'm very confident with the game. We'll be showing how the game was reworked, because when we were first announcing it, it really changed. Because the development went through We have a very dedicated team, but in terms how I would compare it to modding, I think it's amazing because you have something that is fully yours and you have a way better control over it when we are like limited with the engine, things like that. And we are working on a Unity engine. It's very flexible. Yeah,
that's good.
And I hope we will be able to do some big announcements soon because we are talking with big people, and that I can only say that talks are going good, but I just want to don't spoil it. And recently we'll be showing how the game changed. Yeah,
that's cool.
But without any spoilering how the future of it is going. But working on own game is quite amazing thing. It's hard, but it's amazing. Very fulfilling, I would say.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing, because obviously I saw a lot of stuff from like the concept stages and stuff. For like, obviously, spoiler alert to people, like I speak to Venris a lot, you know. So I've been keyed in on a bunch of stuff, and it looks really cool from what I saw. And I'm looking forward to like seeing what you guys think too, because like from what you showed off, it looks really, really interesting. It's definitely a unique idea, which, you know, there's not a lot of unique ideas lately. It's a lot of people like to rehash the same thing over and over, right?
This is the thing that my wife was always saying, like, why you're not making something that is very safe, And I said, I don't want to make another Vampire Survivors clone.
Yeah.
We have hundreds of those. And the thing is also that I think that idea was so unique at the beginning when we announced it that many people didn't understand it. And this is like was the most common feedback, like people didn't understand what this game is about. And when we polished it more, we have an actual tutorial, and as I said, we are working right now on a showcase of like a very short video that you can see and you understand it. And we have like a closed showing of it right now to Whispers of the Eyeless patrons, because we have a separate patron for it, and some other people like friends, family, and they are like, okay, I understand it. I show you, I like it, I understand it, and I think this is the biggest problem that I encountered, when making own game. How to show the game, unique idea, so everyone understands it.
Yeah, I mean,
without making like a very deep videos and so on.
Yeah, like you need it to be user friendly, but also different in a sense, right? And it's always the thing when a project gets announced, like people are like going to get confused when they don't see a lot of information. But obviously, like it takes a while from announcing you're working on something to like getting to the point of, hey, let me show you the stuff that we've been working on. And obviously plans do change originally, mechanicals and stuff like that. We've seen it with loads and loads of games, right? It's not just been that. So no, yeah, man, I'm really excited to see what you guys are gonna show off eventually. I'm looking forward to giving it a playthrough too. You know, I'm always up for playing new games.
You can get an early access.
So see, that's what I was trying to go for. Yeah. But yeah, honestly, this has been really, really fun. Anything that you'd like to say to the community before we call it a day?
I think we as a community overall about the whole situation with Total War Warhammer acted very good. There was no real toxicity in it, like on the big scale, I would say. And I'm happy that people still want to make this game better. And we as a community make a very good step forward. And I'm looking forward for all of us to just get back to this game with the next DLC that CA does way better.
Cool.
Because they can do it.
Let's hope. Knock on wood, you know. But yeah, with all that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is going to be a new series that's going to kick up on the channel. I think it's going to be kind of cool. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'll see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.